because I'm on ultra settings currently,
That's fair. Yeah,
and I
running at
forgot to
about
turn it off.
medium. All right, so we're coming at you live now with RVNX, TCFB, and RAVE and Soltech Silver Bracket. It's going to be
Whew.
starting up in about 13 minutes here. They got obviously their setup phase of 20 minutes before we have any start. But we're going to grab, okay, yeah, and we're going to grab one of the RVNX players, Squizzy, who's also going to be streaming the match from his perspective, and just chat a little bit with him about what they're planning to do and what they're looking for going in.
User was moved to your channel.
All right.
And here we go.
Yes. Hello.
G'day,
Sorry.
fellas. How you going?
Hello.
Oh, pretty good. Long time no see.
Yeah. So we are live. Should have mentioned that. We're happy to have you on. So, what do you guys? How you feeling about this match? What are you looking for going in?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
100%.
It has
Yeah.
been it's been a really busy week. I'm not going to lie. The outfit qualifiers was a really intense time. I mean, it was really good to have it broken up this time instead of everyone was obviously trying to slog it out over the whole qualifying period. So we did have some breaks in there. But some of us did pull some really long hours, and again, we're putting ourselves up to organise the strats and get the roster sorted and work out and translate that information and everything about Desolation and the outfit wars to our guys. But at the end of the day, I think we're prepared. All the guys are really excited, and we're really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Yeah, it does. It has seemed a lot to me as a player, someone who did pull those long shifts for Outfit Wars 1. It seems a lot easier on the players this time, just in terms of the time commitment they're expecting from you. And I think it's good to see a lot of new faces from, last time, people that didn't necessarily have a chance or decided to not compete either because of the time or just the size of the outfits competing, things like that.
Yeah, for the Ravens, we took our time on the first one. We wanted to see how it all played out from an observer's perspective. We wanted to get more information before we sort of brought it to our guys and said, are you prepared? Because the officers themselves, we didn't feel prepared. We just wanted to give it the breathing room that it needed for everybody to absorb, the new changes and what that may or may not mean to the outfit. And like I said, we're prepared, I think, because we gave ourselves that extra time. Like you said, there's other new outfits as well that gave themselves time. I think everybody for this particular season is going to be really pumped to get into it, and it's going to be very, very aggressive. I'm really excited, I can tell you.
Yeah, and yeah, it's good to see, and we're looking forward to. I mean, we got a full day. It's nice to see the match happening at the correct server time this time as well. I'm sure that helps.
Well, that's really interesting because for us, apparently the gold hadn't started on time, but for you guys, it was on time. Is that right?
We had a little bit of no, actually, for us it was the same. Pretty much everyone on continent had that little alert timer delay.
Sure.
Okay,
How do you
actually for
feel
gold
going
match,
into?
yeah.
Oop.
I'm not sure to be honest,
How do you,
actually.
so Squizzy? How do you feel going into this match for? I guess what is one of your main prime times as well for this because we've got two Australian outfits going into this outfit wars for at least this match. How do you feel you guys are matched against the other two?
There has been a bit of communication amongst all the outfits on the server. So our outfit leader, Time Trooper or Trooper Time, he's done a lot of work. He set up the recent three-way Bastion fight for Soltech, which was again an event for the community where we all got together and worked for something that wasn't just day-to-day map meta.
Yep.
And in that time and since then, like relationships have been built. We've got really strong relationships with all the teams. So I don't feel like it's necessarily representatives of Australia versus anyone else. We've got such a large mix of guys from all over the globe. Particularly, we do have a lot of Malaysian, Hong Kong, Singaporean, Vietnamese members, and Indian as well, members of our community that are competing today and that have been competing and helping for the overall committing to Outfit Wars qualifiers. It definitely doesn't feel like it's that much of a line in the sand. There is some communication barriers, but we've overcome them, and yeah, it just feels like it's going to be a really, really good, healthy match.
That's actually really good to hear as well, because just seeing how diverse and multicultural, especially these teams are going to be going into this silver match, is definitely something I'm excited about. Definitely representing a lot of the values that I like to stand for. That's for sure.
Definitely. I mean,
it's
that's
definitely a value for PS2. Sorry, it's
No,
definitely an overall PlanetSide as a game. We've come through a lot, all of the servers through all their different things, and the game itself and the community as a whole at large have all come through a whole lot of ebbs and flows of where the game is, where the dev team is,
Yes.
you know. And I think it just, as you're saying, like our outfit and other outfits really speak for that multicultural, the guys of many backgrounds and of many talents all getting together to compete for common, outcomes. That value for PlanetSide is something that is just a cut above everything else that I've ever encountered in my time.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
And how are you guys feeling? Do you feel a little not disconnected, but a little disjointed, knowing that this is a server that you may be a little bit unfamiliar with?
Yeah, I think definitely from an outsider perspective, it's, just talking to you now, it's really interesting to get some perspective into what Soltech is more like. I mean, honestly, as an outsider, I kind of, would assume it was just kind of like these outfits looked like they were just like, you had your Chinese outfit and your Korean outfit and like etc. Kind of how you have some of like the specific like French and Russian outfits on the EU servers. But it sounds like it's a lot more kind of intermingled than that, which is really cool to hear.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people alt tab or they shift tab to bring up Google Translate in wherever they are. They might need to translate Korean to Chinese or Japanese to Indonesian or whatever it might be. So we've all had to overcome those barriers, and I think that's strengthened everybody.
Yeah.
Although we are with TCFB, we're the only majority English speaking outfits.
Yeah.
Like I said, time's gone out. We do have other members from other outfits that speak English to us, and we have guys that speak Korean and speak Chinese, and we have guys that live over there too. So yeah, it is definitely something that we've been able to strengthen as a whole server.
No, that's
good to hear.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting to watch the evolution of where a lot of these, former Briggs communities have ended up in PlanetSide. With the obvious, dissolution of the Briggs server, and then, it seems like you guys have found a great place on Soltech. Some of those outfits have obviously settled in on Connery and are actually competing, well, tomorrow, I guess, for you guys. But it's great to see the way that, it seems like former Briggs refugees, if you will, have integrated on other servers.
Yeah, we started as boat people, that's for sure. It definitely was more of an excursion. I wasn't here in the early days. I did warp over to Soltech with my main character, like everyone else, but I had an alt that I was playing on Connery for a long time before the server closed. So I was experiencing both sides, and there wasn't a lot of options for a lot of people for a long time, but with Mighty Blue Justice and the TCFB boys setting up the English outfit for VS, for Vanu, it's really, really good now to get a really solid, larger growth for the whole English side of the English-speaking side of the community. And again, it is still just interwoven amongst all the other outfits and strengthening everybody's relationships by having more diversity amongst themselves and amongst the whole server.
That's fantastic to hear.
Beautiful.
We're looking forward to seeing it. I guess your prep phase starts in about 2.5 minutes here, so I don't want to hold you too long.
Yeah.
We do want to remind everyone as well that Squizzy is going to be streaming his point of view as well over on his channel. for those that are unfamiliar with your channel, do you want to? What's your channel link for Twitch?
Cheers for the shout out. It's twitch.tv/Squizzy, Squizzy spelt SQUIIZZY.
Beautiful.
Fabulous.
So if you do want to watch a live perspective, feel free to have that open. We'll be doing commentary as well over here for all the matches, either on Planetside Battles or Planetside Battles 2, with Gold currently going on Planetside Battles 2. So there'll be definitely a full weekend full of matches here. It's going to be
Huge
busy.
team of casters. I mean, we kind of did it fairly short notice-ish, but we put together. I didn't even take the last head count, but it's probably close to 10 to 15 casters for this week. Just one day.
Shit up. Well, good luck to you boys, and for everybody else that's watching, have fun, enjoy it, ask the questions in the chat amongst each other as well, because during my match particularly, I'm not going to be looking at chat, but and to everyone that's playing, good luck and have fun.
Yeah, good luck. I'm looking forward to it.
Beautiful. And we'll see you after the match for the post-interview.
Yeah, totally. All right. See you, boys.
See ya.
User left your channel.
All right. I feel a little more optimistic about the match. I mean,
I'm looking forward to it.
I am, absolutely. And RAVE, I believe, used to be on Connery as well, and I remember them being a pretty strong outfit. And obviously RVNX, we've seen a lot, some coordinated play from them, and they've an outfit that seemed like they've kind of exploded since they've left Briggs.
Yeah, I'm more familiar with RVNX and TCFB. I've always known the Last Ravens as more of a infantry and combined arms outfit. They did a little bit of everything, and they were very close knit as a community on TR as well back on Briggs. But ever since they've moved to Soltech, they've really become what seems to be a dominating force for the Australian time zone. And from what I hear now, very much a lot of the server now as well, with how many people are across the time zone, I guess.
Yeah, it's great to see that kind of how that's all integrated. I'm just checking, I can see, just looking in the API, looks like all the teams have their guys online and ready.
Beautiful.
Full platoons on. Beautiful. Oh, here we go. 20 minutes. There's their pre-match preparation phase. We're going to look, let's see the pop filter in a little bit here.
It's actually my first time properly looking at the Desolation map, as mostly playing a neutral faction NSO. It hasn't captured me too much as of yet, not being in an outfit.
Yeah, I mean, Desolation is a beautiful continent.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
They did, I think the world designers for PlanetSide really outdid themselves with a good amount of this. And there's some great changes we saw during the playtests. One of the nice things about this map is I've been on it probably more than most, if not pretty much everyone except for the other playtesters in the game. And it's changed a lot since the original iteration I saw. I mean, things like these donut buildings that they have around the point. And one of the things I love about these points is, just from an infantry play perspective, is you see these like stacked up. Oop, that's not going to happen again. Please excuse my camera work. Some of these, the way they stacked up these crates and placed a lot of this stuff inside gives a little bit of fun cover, but it still leaves it, I think air is going to be a strong influence. We saw it in kind of that Cobalt speed run as well. A very strong air force dominates this map.
Oh, interesting.
Just because of how open these points are, it's very difficult to hold a point if you don't have, if you're getting pounded from the sky. Although, because I believe this cap zone doesn't extend outside, like it stops at the donut. It's also very difficult to hold spawns on this map. I mean, you can get beacons and routers kind of in decent places, and I'm expecting to see a lot of construction going on. But you really can't keep Sunderers alive if there's any kind of enemy air or armor.
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting to see what tactics do get used. What do you think is going to change between, I guess, the first set of outfit wars compared to now? Now that people are a little bit more familiar and they've seen matches?
I would possibly expect to see like kind of more air. I know some of the early matches I really didn't see any.
Mm.
Some brackets like Cobalt's gold bracket with T. T was very heavy on air. Some of their friends from Bling, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and they did their quote unquote speed run. And that was the fastest of any Outfit Wars match. So I would assume some people have looked at that and kind of thought about it and looked at it and been like, hey, maybe this is something that we want to adopt. I also I would expect pretty heavy, emphasis on routers and things over Sunderers. I think a lot of people realized how hard it is to keep a Sunderer alive. But routers, this map I don't believe there's anywhere on this map that you can't use construction. Like there's no construction, no deploy zones. So we could see some interesting stuff potentially over points with sky shields and things like that.
Oh yeah.
I'm honestly curious if we're going to end up seeing a little Spitfire army anywhere.
I'm expecting it. Do they? I guess they also have, because they have full access to their armory as well for this.
Yeah,
So they could
everything
be.
except
Oh,
bastions.
yeah. So they can be pulling out their domes. They can be pulling vehicles from just about everywhere.
Yeah. I would also
It's
expect I know last Desolation there was a bug in the game where they weren't regenerating nanites.
Mhm.
So I think a lot of outfits now, well, obviously vehicles use cordium on Desolation. I'm sure a lot of outfits were holding, on their medkit chugging and C4 spam type of things. I would expect to see a lot more of that now that they have the ability to get nanites back.
That's fair. Yeah. Ooh.
That
Plus,
could,
I'm always looking forward to see just the vehicle play gameplay, because I think just seeing the harasser squads that they had last time in some of those matches and how they seem to quite dominate and use them effectively, it'll be nice to see now that that's kind of seen what they'll use to counter and what they'll use to kind of get an emotion. Like, do you want to have air superiority then to try and counter that, or yeah, how do they want to tackle it?
yeah, and that was one thing that we saw in actually our match was that as far as ground play went, we pretty much dominated that with like a 5-man harasser squad.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that was some of the most fun gameplay I've had in playing outside in a while, was playing in that harasser squad. Um, as far as like air goes, though, it is difficult. It's not as hard as some places because you can see Desolation really doesn't have a lot of cover for air,
No, it doesn't.
which does make it easier to use um, somewhat more placed AA nests and things like that. Ranger harassers
If
are fairly strong.
And plus, then you've got also 96 other people you got to worry about. Small arms fire, worrying about ESFs. That's gonna. It's like when it comes to a freeway battle, this is completely different to a one-on-one outfit situation. You've got quite a bit to worry about now.
Yeah, and that's also something we saw kind of in some of the early outfit wars is that some outfits would focus very hard on whoever they considered to be their stronger opponent or, perhaps maybe just had a little grudge against. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd leave the other team alone for a very long time. And what you'd end up with is just this, like, taking, for example, Connery Gold, right? Um, kind of Recursion and DPSO focused very heavily on each other because they obviously went in as kind of, mid fits, skill fits that are, kind of recognize each other as like the strongest opponent.
Yeah,
And then Pigs ended up winning that match because nobody paid attention to them.
and that's dangerous in itself, because
Yep.
we've seen multiple times some of these large outfits that can pull numbers quite heavily have been a dominating force if they're ignored.
Yeah,
And I think we've even seen that a bit in lane smash now as well. It's definitely a concern.
absolutely. Yeah.
But hopefully they learn their lesson.
Yeah, I would hope so. I think some of it also comes down to, due to the scale of outfit wars, almost any small outfit that qualifies is having to bring in friends of their outfit to play for them,
Hmm.
which lends itself, I mean, it'll vary outfit to outfit, but it's going to lend itself to a little less um, ease of coordination, I would think, versus a group that's been running, with each other for weeks or months. I know certainly for us, we had friends from a few different outfits playing just to be able to field 48 people, and there were
Yeah.
certainly differences in play style, and we'd really never um, hadn't played together in a good while, so it was a struggle for us to keep everything coordinated and kind of on top of it.
Mm. Especially the outfits that are not prepared for those kind of numbers. I mean, there's a lot of outfits that can run platoons and a full platoon, but especially in more of a public setting, it's a vast difference in this kind
Yes.
of competitive setting to coordinate that many people on an organized level
Yeah.
against these kind of numbers that you're going up against for outfit wars. So it's definitely going to be an interesting match. I'm looking forward to it. Uh, the only I think so. Have you got any predictions so far? Curiously.
I I almost want to favor Rave actually, just based on, mostly pure
Ooh,
statistics. Um, I think
interesting.
that the one thing as far as I understand, Rave is mostly an infantry outfit, which is where I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to be interested to see if they're able to kind of pull the vehicle cheese and construction that they need to pull this off.
Yep.
Um, but as far as, infantry play, I believe like as an outfit, an 80-man outfit, their average KD is something like 3. Um,
That's actually really impressive.
yeah.
I'll give him that.
And
I hmm
infantry farming isn't everything, but
no. I'm gonna go for the underdog. I'm gonna put my money on the Thundercougar Falcon Birds, TCFB,
all right.
um, and only because so back on Briggs, they were quite a dominant air outfit. They
Okay.
were, if you saw that tag and they were in the air, that's something you would normally be scared of. Or at least that's my opinion. I got so I think if we see anything, we might actually see a good amount of Vanu air.
Okay.
And hopefully they'll use that to their advantage and control. I don't know how it is these days though, so this is going back in the day, but I feel like
Mhm.
they're the team that's going to be controlling the air.
That's going to be really interesting to see, and I think that if they are able to control the air like that, then that'll be a huge point in their favor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know, like I said, I don't know that Rave really has any pilots, or if they do,
Mm.
at least when they were playing on Connery, I never really noticed them.
No,
Um,
that's fair.
but
And there,
you know,
it could be as well that the Last Ravens RVNX actually going to have a really good combined arms effort because that's what
that's
I
true.
honestly I put to them. So it's gonna be an interesting balancing act. I think
Yes.
it's going to come down to who in the end can balance their forces across both sides and then tackle the points that need to be tackled at the right time.
Yeah.
Because whew, I you know what, I'm happy. I think silver is the match to watch. I don't know what's happening on gold right now, I'm not over there, but I think silver is what's going on.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Just kind of when I looked at the lineup, this is what struck me as kind of was going to be the hottest contested match of this server, honestly.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Um, yeah, and I mean, one thing I think would be interesting to see is, with air playing such a strong force,
Mm,
it could, and where Rave definitely has a lot of strong infantry players. Like, we've seen
yes.
that firsthand, and it looks like, honestly, just looking at their outfit, um, online, a good chunk of their players have there's certainly some, new faces in there that may be friends from like other groups,
Hmm.
but they've got a good chunk of their players have been in that outfit for, as long as Soltech's been around.
Mm.
So we're not,
And I guess even before then, because
yeah,
because a lot of the Soltech players would have come from the migration from other servers. So
yeah, it does look like they may have reformed. I think the earliest join dates for their outfit are like 2019, right around when
okay,
Soltech was made. But
yep.
honestly, just looking down their list, there aren't that many people that really strike me as like kind of ringers, like people they may have brought in. I think certainly there are a few. But we may be looking at a force that's very used to running in tight infantry groups. And against the Thunderbirds, at least, it's probably going to come down to if we see that strong air, can RAVE counter that?
Mm.
Because I definitely think they're going to have a leg up on straight infantry play. It's going to come down to whether they can hold back all of the vehicles and force an infantry game.
Yeah. And I think if any team's on the ground going to win the infantry, looking at sides, I feel like NC is definitely going to be the one to worry about because
Yes.
especially if you're going to be fighting in those donuts, that's the faction I'll be most worried about. That's for sure. I'm
Yeah.
not much of an infantry player though, but
Yeah.
tell you what.
I mean, they do have access to orbital strikes, which, can be useful. But at the
Hmm.
same time, one of the things that we saw used a lot in the early matches is that these donut bases are the perfect radius to be completely covered by a sky shield.
Ooh,
If you
that's
place it like
perfect.
right underneath the relic, it
Yep.
will cover the whole donut perfectly. And that kind of thing, if they can't kill off that sky shield or they're not willing to waste the orbital,
Hmm.
that's going to force their opponents to come in through the donut. And honestly, I think that's going to be very difficult for either RVNX or TCFB to push through against RAVE.
Ooh, that is okay. Interesting. Yeah, because if they can hold that down and keep that Sky Shield up as well, and oh boy, because I know that there's a couple of ways to get. No, you can't get through. You can't go through enemy Sky Shields because they now destroy vehicles as well.
You can
If you try to
drop
get through it.
through them, but if, I mean, again, you're still forcing an infantry game if you drop through them.
Yeah, correct.
And if you add a Pain Spire under there, I believe it's basically an insta kill before you hit the ground.
But to get the pain spot, because that being able to actually get a base built by
Hmm.
one of these donuts, that's going to be a challenge within itself.
Yes.
That's because
I think we'll be
yeah,
likely to see that on kind of their back bases. Like if we look at the
for
map,
sure.
each one of them kind of has their two bases. Um, and I'm sure there's going to be bases built, if only for routing spires,
Yep.
um,
Just so
that are
they
going
can
to be
get
a little
the
bit
the
back.
routers into these bases. That's going to be the big challenge.
Yep. And just in general, I'll be interested to see with this match going up to 750 points now. I believe
Hmm.
10 seconds of holding a base per point.
Hmm.
Whether it's gonna have, whether like the amount of cordium is actually going to be such that they're actually going to have to, mine cordium to keep their
Yeah.
vehicles up. Because that was another thing we noticed. A lot of the early matches went kind of too fast for cordium to matter all that much.
And then hopefully with the changes, especially now that points are going to cap at 750 rather than 500, maybe it's going to slow it down a little bit more so that gives them the opportunity. So I'm hoping that's what
Definitely.
happens.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some longer matches, and also I think it could be a little less punishing now for teams that take that early lead.
Yeah.
One of the things that we saw in the early matches was teams would jump, say they'd cap, like coming from the southeastern warp gate, they'd get C, D, like I, H. They'd grab like 5 bases right at the beginning. And then, obviously having half the bases on the map, they'd get focused down for like the next,
Oh
10,
yeah.
15 minutes, and then the match is pretty much over. But there's a little more
And
time for recovery.
that's very common in the alerts as well. You never want to be the man
Yeah.
that's ahead or the
It's
faction that's ahead because they'll get focused down. That's for sure.
it's a very rare pleasure to start ahead in an alert and actually win it.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
I actually had a bizarre one of those last week. We started with about 50% territory control in a full even pop continent, and I think we ended with
Ooh,
67%. Don't know how that happened.
interesting.
But it showed, I mean,
Oh,
theoretically the double team is overcomeable.
yeah.
Either in that case it was mostly the other two factions not paying attention to the alert and farming each other, but
The poor biolab farms. Whew,
yeah. This one was
we're
actually an
all
amp station, I think.
amp station. That's
Yeah.
actually okay.
It was like a
But
96-96 fight over an amp station.
I think the only time I've encountered it so far in recent times where the head faction at the start actually wins is usually when there's the population difference. But
Yeah.
that's I think up to time
It's
zone
definitely
when I
very
play.
rare, and I think that will play out here a bit in that teams are going to have to be careful about gaining too strong of a lead and attracting the attention of, both other teams.
Mm. But then, when do you want to say is the great time to actually pull ahead? Then, because that becomes a whole balance in itself. If you want to start, and that's coming
Yeah,
to mind games now of people keeping an eye on the score.
for sure. And
Ooh.
I mean, if you jump in and you hold like 3 bases, in like the perfectly even map setup, right? Each one is going to hold 3 bases at the start. And honestly, if you can hold on to 3 bases and then kind of play that long game and jump ahead maybe about halfway through and start gaining points,
Mm-hmm.
the middle relics are very close together. Um, and I think that there's
Yeah.
a potential for the way momentum tends to play out in PlanetSide that, you know, a quick, like efficient move could take both of those middle bases and kind of push an outfit ahead very quickly. We're 40
Wave.
seconds from start here.
Oh, I'm excited.
We got
40.
Southeastern Warp Gate with RVNX on TR, Southwestern Warp Gate, RAVE on NC, and Northern Warp Gate has the Thunderbirds on VS. And we got 25 seconds to start here.
Beautiful.
Let's go take a look. I'm gonna go over to my RAVE boys, see how they're doing.
I'll have a look at let's have a look. I don't know which way I'm heading, so let's see who it is. Oh, it's Vanu. So this is
All right.
TCFB.
I see we got a ton of Sunderers from RAVE and the 5 or so Valkyries. Here we go.
And here we go.
And some Reavers. Oh, nope. Match is
And
canceled. It's
everyone's
a
a
draw.
winner. Perfect.
Uh-oh. Looks like we had a little false start. A couple of vehicles dying right at the start here.
Oh, everything looks fine on the Vanu side. Vanu with their scythes, yeah, they've got a big air force coming out. A lot of vehicles coming out as well. I'd say at least 2 squads from TCFB.
We're seeing RAVE go right for Relic E and F. They've got both of those capped right at the start. I'm not sure where their scythes just went off to.
TCFB are taking a little bit of time to get to B, but they're using
Yeah.
a Valkyrie for that.
And this is a Mossy force here, raining hell on Relic E. Reavers coming in. I noticed some of these Reavers starting the match with bounties. That might give you an idea of how they're gonna play.
Yeah. Oh boy. I like that. Looks like TCFB, Vanu are going straight for F. They've got a lot of their air force now coming in to take care of what looks like a RAVE.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like I'm seeing there's still some RAVE Reavers up in here. Really unclear to me who's won this air fight, although it looks like it may be RAVE now.
I'm gonna go have a look over at Ravens just to see how they're going. So far, they've got point C and D.
Ooh, this
we haven't had too much movement in the middle yet, though.
No, it's been pretty quiet in the middle. I don't think we've seen any contesting on that. Outfits being very cautious.
Oh, I'm seeing Sunday start to get set up here at H. So this is going to be nice.
Oh, yep. This is one
Looks
of
like
probably
Ravens are set
the
up.
closest thing to a sheltered Sunday spawn, and that Sunday just disappeared on me. Not sure if it's despawn or if it's a cloak Sunday.
I do believe it's cloaked.
That's a smart move on their part.
TCFB here on C point now. They've got a Sunday deployed. Looks like they've cleared out some of the Rave guys that were here, and they're now preparing to take it once it becomes available.
Yep. We see a Valk drop on Relic G from TCFB. There's
Nice.
one Rave Dorito hanging out here. Looks like it might be an infiltrator. Yep, it's an infill hanging out on the roof here. So Rave has eyes on everything that's going on here.
Yeah, Rave also got Eye.
Yeah.
Seems to have a bit of lockdown as well.
It
looks
honestly,
like so far
they seem to be using like actual like recon, like spotters. Which is an interesting tactic I haven't seen before. So that
here we go. G is flipped, I is flipped. No movement from H yet though.
Yeah.
I don't see any of the Ravens guys in H at all.
The Ravens guys. Oh, the Raven guys jumped on B. Relic B over here.
B, look at this.
They've gone straight for the throat with TCFB here. And now we're seeing drop pods come in. It looks like that might be TCFB. Yep, they're coming back in. One RVNX guy and his 2 Spitfires. Yeah, there we go. There's my first double Spitfire of the match.
Here we go. RVNX. The battle for B so far. Thunder Cougar have their Valk still up.
Yeah.
But it's taken a lot of small arms fire. The guy repping it, I think, has gone down now as well. Ooh, this is going to put TCFB on the back foot. And of course, as we said before, this is going to be what we were talking about. One team starting to trail ahead.
Yeah. Hang on, are you showing scores on your end?
I am not.
Interesting. I'm actually not getting scores on my end either. Hopefully that's just a visual bug.
I don't actually have the alert started on mine either.
No. Interesting.
So that's a little bit of a concern to see if it's actually started.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this is just a visual bug and that it's actually rolling, but if it's showing this way on the team's HUDs as well, that could prove a little bit of an extra strategy challenge.
Yeah, a blind match where you don't actually know the scores. This is going to be a little bit harder to work out.
I'm also just looking at point control here. Rave has that early lead. They have 5 points, although Relic G is getting a contest now. But Thunderbird's having a very difficult time even holding on to the bases next to their gate, honestly.
Yeah, so the fact that Thunderbirds have currently lost Relic A, and I guess now with Ravens having D, C, and B, which is giving them currently 3 points, then also a couple of seconds away from capping Relic H as well. They're going to have themselves, well, just like RAVE, have 4 points as well. So
RVNX is going to need to... Looks like it might be C that they're holding. But D next to their gate is actually held by RAVE right now. If RVNX gets that back, that's kind of an easy contest for them. And then they'll be holding 4... Oh, nope, they've got 5. They jumped on Relic I while I wasn't looking. So now it's RVNX in the lead with the base caps, or at least tied.
Yeah. It looks like a lot of the forces currently for TCFB are in the air. This is quite a big Scythe force above G point right now, currently fighting Mozzies. They were fighting a Reaver before as well. But it does, like I said for my prediction earlier, so far I'm seeing them... Oh, it's actually a good amount of air from all teams.
Yeah.
Now that I say that. There's no... I don't think there's going to be any controlling the air this game. This is going to be a big air fight for the whole match.
Just looking in here at Relic D, I see a little... We got our mini umbrella shield here with a couple Spitfires underneath it. There is a lot of Spitfires being used in this match. I'm actually seeing there's an RVNX guy up on a roof with a couple of Spitfires just hanging out and actually shooting down into the point when they can.
Oh boy.
That's kind of a clever little placement for these. They can reach from the top of the building into part of the Relic.
I see TCFB currently making a push for G. That looks like they're currently on the western side of the donut, pushing them with infantry. But looks like a lot of the Rave guys are actually getting pushed out as well. I'm going to go inside to have a peek.
Yeah, we saw RAVE was hotly contesting with RVNX too, so they may be, like we said before with the early lead, they may be paying for that now.
Oh, it does look like a lot of TCFB have been pushed off.
Yeah.
Relic G has been successfully defended. Oh, we see point flipping over at I. I currently, we've got Rave, looks like verse
This
Ravens.
is a pretty
And
hot
this
air
is a
battle
hot
going
one.
on over here. We're seeing, I think I saw Scythe, the Mossies. It's a little bit of everything over here. There's a Reaver. Some of these air battles are actually quite impressive to look at, and they're close enough that they're getting entangled in each other's air battles. Little Scythes are getting caught in the crossfire between Mossies and Reavers. Oh, here comes a Rave Galaxy and a Valkyrie. And Rave has this, they're really leaning heavily on these umbrella shields. I'm seeing 3 of them set up on Relic Eye now, and I'm hearing the sound that I'm hearing when I pop into every single point in this map is a hail of Spitfires.
Oh, yes.
I'm trying to find
And,
the Spitfires right now in Relic Eye. Oh, and we see use of Caltrops as well. These tactical slot assets are being put to good use.
It looks like, so far, Relic Eye is actually probably going to go to Rave, because they've managed to push up Raven so far out of the whole donut. I'm not seeing any Sunderers or any of them spawns come in. There is still a beacon up in the middle of the Relic, but so far, Rave is really holding their own in this match.
Yeah, Rave has full center map control now, although Relic Eye is still under contest. And they hold 3 other points around the edge. Assuming that this alert is working as intended, that's actually pretty good for them.
And now they're pushing to H as well, so Rave are going to be... they're having most of the points. Now that we see TCFB with only 2 of the relics, with 1 still on the contest, we have the last Ravens that have currently 3 relics. They're looking like they're losing H as well as C is on the contest from TCFB.
Yeah.
I'm currently watching the H fight here. This is currently Rave versus the Ravens. And there's a lot of Spitfires here. This poor guy on the roof. Oh no. He doesn't want to peek. He's dropped down. Instantly minced.
Yeah. Oh hey, you might want to change up your HUD for faction colors. I just got a poke about that.
Oh no, I'm all good there.
Or actually, you know what? It might be me. If I'm
I've always played with faction colors being a NSO.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably on me then. That's right. Let's see.
Here we go, Galaxy from Ravens. Wondering what they're going to be using this for.
All right, my colors should be back to what they normally are. Big streamer here, forgetting that I've had custom colors for 6 years in game.
Interesting. Ravens are currently, what I assume, is sending a big force over to help protect E Point. E Point's currently under attack from Rave and Ravens as well. A lot of the guys, it looks like they've been strike down from Ravens as a lot of infantry. I'm seeing at least a squad and a half so far of Rave headed straight to the center here.
Yeah, and there is, it looks like a little construction base here. Rave actually has an anti-infantry turret with an AI module set up inside this base.
Yeah, this is nice.
I'm surprised to see no sky shield inside though. I think that would be... it should be inside the silos deploy range, I think.
Yeah, you should be able to... I'd imagine they should be able to get one down. They've also got a spawn tube here as well, so having to deal with that, this is a heavy defense. So Ravens are, I think, going to have a hard time trying to take this one, and a lot of them have just died as well. They've got the anti-infantry in the middle as well. Oh boy.
Looking over towards Relic F, it looks like... well, Rave has... okay, Rave does have the sky shield set up on Relic F. They've got that dead center sky shield pretty much. Looks like it's actually
Perfect.
slightly off center. There's a little hole in it. Not sure if it's enough for oh. Outfit War Gold is over. Let's see who won.
Ooh,
YLB Hero Army winning Outfit War Gold. And it looks like we do
good
have the
job.
score here. RAVE is in the lead by 70 points in this Outfit War.
Oh, are we seeing scores somewhere else?
We're seeing scores in the Outfit War tab.
Ooh,
It's 206 to 136 to 62 with RAVE, RVNX, and TCFB.
interesting. Here we go. This is going to be a little bit hard to get to, but
Yeah.
yeah, TCFB now on the back foot for sure, only on 62 points. We see them currently only having one relic under defense, looking to try and get back relic A, but as we can see, oh, it's going to be, it's definitely hard.
There's a Valk drop here on relic F, but there is, again, the anti-infantry turret here, and there's one RAVE guy kind of hanging out on the point with a few Spitfires.
Yeah.
They're making it really annoying to get into this point without a strong drop.
Yep. RAVE have been definitely on their redeploy game and doing very well to keep up the defenses on a lot of these places. It makes me wonder how they're getting these beacons up so quickly to get the redeploy so fast, unless they have routers inside as well.
One thing I noticed, and I'm not sure if they've been using it at all, I haven't been paying close attention. I mean, you saw, at least on the initial bases, they had a stalker infill waiting on every one of the center bases. I wonder if they may be using that tactic a bit more, and or just the kind of classic throw an ESF at them and whatnot.
I mean, if you have a stalker infill on each point and you have dedicated squads to focusing down specific donuts, then yeah, that could be a tactic to get a quick beacon down at whatever base you want.
Yeah, I mean, also depending on how much micro their platoon leader is doing, you can also swap the infills between squads as needed.
Oh yeah. So as we have a look currently at the map, we see RAVE currently with six of the relics. Ravens currently only have C with the one relic, and then TCFB now having the two relics.
Yeah. RVNX has put a strong showing in on relic D here.
Ooh, let's head over there.
Minute 46 left on that timer. They've got a good portion, pretty much their entire forces on relic D here.
They've got a galaxy on the inside to keep the spawns active as well.
Yep, and they've got Mossies overhead, spawn beacon.
Oh, there goes the galaxy. Yeah, this one, it'll be interesting to see if they want to contest this one. I would say not, because this is their home one, so I don't know if they're going to get the force back here in time to at least for the minute 18. But
hard to
know.
tell. That's a RAVE galaxy actually headed to relic C.
Oh, let's have.
I just saw that pass. They maybe just bypassing completely and headed right for their other warp gate base.
Oh no, I think that's an RVNX galaxy.
Is it?
RVNX galaxy going to H now.
That's just me getting my faction colors messed up still. God.
Here we go. Oh, we've got a full squad dropping onto relic H currently.
Nice use of that umbrella shield to cover them from. Oh, they've got a beacon under their umbrella shield.
That's nice.
I don't know if that'll protect it from a dedicated nose gunner, but it'll certainly help. What I also haven't seen is any relic top beacons. Those ones are a pain to get rid of.
Yes.
I would expect to see it.
Look. See, this is the perfect time now as well for RAVE to start getting some dedicated base building at some of these forward bases, because they've actually, for example, they've kind of held I for a little while. I do see Fundakuga currently with a Sunday at I, which is an interesting choice to attack. Raven's attacking it as well, so currently this is going to turn into a freeway fight, possibly.
Looks like they do have a couple Spitfires kind of protecting their Sunday from wayward light assaults too, which is important. The number of times in the earlier matches last month that I saw Sundays just get C4'd with no contest was awful.
Oh, that Valk from RAVE having a fun time currently.
Yeah, RAVE is pounding away at this Sunderer from the air. They've got a couple Valkyries over it.
I'm shocked, actually, that this Sunderer survived for so long. So, Oh, it dropped out.
You know,
Looks
there's
like
people from all three factions here at Relic Eye. We've got Rave
I know.
Valkyries. I see that one RVNX Dorito over there. TCFB's Sunderer.
That Sundero from TCFB's gone down now. I'm seeing Ravens have good control on the inside though currently. Got an umbrella shield currently going on.
Yeah, Ravens is really picking it up here. It's nice to
They've
see.
got some anti-air as well, so they've got currently 2 Skyguards working away at a Galaxy from
Yeah, that Galaxy's
Rave.
gonna die. Yep, there it goes. Rave did not manage to pull that off. Just looking at territory control here, Rave is still holding. RVNX about to take H with no contest. And Relic I have a strong push on Thunderbirds with a strong push on Relic G. This is RVNX, or not RVNX, sorry. Rave is really starting to pay for that early extension.
Yeah, we're seeing currently Rave with a score of 358, with Last Ravens on 179, and TCFB on 115. So TCFB's catching up a little bit, but they're definitely.
I found
they really need to
harassers.
start focusing down. Ooh, whereabouts?
Couple TCFB harassers headed into E point here.
E point, I'm gonna go over there. That's where my fun is.
And they got all of this Rave stuff is still set up, but oh, these are Sauron harassers. It looks like they're pounding away at the Rave Sunderer. Rave does have an AI AV turret actually set up to protect their silo.
Interesting.
But these harassers have gotten out of range and they're just pounding the Sundy from like an untouchable location.
And here we see the anti-vehicle turret start to go active, starting to pound one of the harassers away. But
Yeah.
I don't think they're
both smoking, but they're out of range of it again. They're going to be able to kind of start beating up some of this construction with impunity. Huh, I just saw that Sauron hit a Valkyrie headed to I.
Yeah.
Rave dropping in on I to try and push RVNX off. And it looks like that's a wipe for RVNX.
Oh, they were close. Oh, does this say 12 seconds left on the timer? Did I see correctly?
12 seconds on which timer?
On the I time, I don't know. I was glanced over there, but it's just a short
I looks like it's held at about 40 seconds right now, but RVNX is devoting a lot more numbers to that than Rave.
Oh,
but
the poor harasser ran by an ant.
Oh, no.
Not good to see.
RVNX has got this timer rolling again at Relic I.
Okay, that's enough for now.
They are losing Relic H to a TCFB Ghost Cap, however.
Yeah. Looking at Relic C currently, with TCFB looking to cap this one as well, they actually got themselves a good setup. They've got themselves a garage, the base building here at Relic C, which is, I think, one of the first times we've seen base building at one of the forward bases in this match.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. And going back to this kind of infantry gameplay from Rave, that's what we're seeing on Relic I right now.
Yeah.
Like, RVNX is devoting significantly more population. It's evened out a bit, but they were devoting significantly more population to this point. And this is where we're seeing that, 3 KD Rave guys come in, pushing them right off a point when they dropped.
Mm.
And that's, I think, where I expected RVNX to struggle against Rave, is mostly, inside these donuts.
We are seeing now that the Ravens have 3 of their points, RVNX, and we see Thundercuckoo Falconbirds now get the 3 points as well with Relic A, B, and G. F has started flipping with population contesting there. This is where, this is going to be the start of the punishment, I think, for Rave. That they've now both seen that they need to start focusing them down.
That said, Rave has got a decent force coming in. They've got a significant lead of about 200. And they've also got a pretty significant force in... Was it Relic F I was looking at? Relic D, actually. Relic D is now even. RVNX looks like they're pop dumping that to stop that cap. Yeah. That's a smart move for them, I think.
And
But-
this is now where we start to see the big difference in the extension of scores. Because now, if this was back in first season, honestly, I'd think RAVE have it in the bag now. But this might actually be a way that it can be turned around for either of the other two now with the increase to 750.
Yep. And RVNX also losing Relic H to TCFB now.
Oh yeah, let's have Relic H, Slicer out in force, PPA size coming down in force on the exposed RVNX guys that are infantry so far. And look at the inside. Oh,
I want to talk about it come from behind. I don't know that they have the time to make up the points, but TCFB actually has more points than either of the other two teams right now. Holding 4 bases, including 2 of the middle ones here.
It depends on how much RAVE get focused down. If they get focused down to the point where the other two teams have a majority of the points and they're only getting a minuscule amount of points in the end, that could be quite deadly. But if they're going to continue holding just the 3 points, then RAVE might still win at this point if they can hold what they have currently.
RVNX now has much stronger defenses set up on some of their home bases. They've got a couple of those automated anti-infantry turrets hanging out here. RAVE is kind of pounding away at those with like rocket launchers, though.
Oh, this Scythe getting quite a bit of anti-air coming from infantry, but managing to take down a Mozzie and getting out of there.
Yeah, RAVE is putting a lot onto Relic D right now. It looks like they're really trying to pull this from RVNX. That would hurt for RVNX. RVNX has a silo and a lot of cordium plugged into this base. You see they've got a spawn tube, repair module. A lot of stuff set up here. It's going to be very difficult for RAVE to get to the spire, or to get to the silo and get their spawns away. So they're going to have to sit on this.
Interesting. This could be quite dedicated as well. Yeah, looking at the fight, infantry fight currently.
You know what I haven't seen? Any use of war assets so far.
Yeah.
I've seen no orbital strikes. I've seen no steel rains, no anvils, although anvils are probably hard to spot. I'm very surprised
Got an armor
at this.
column.
Did they really?
Look at this armor column in the middle of the map coming to protect D point.
Oh yeah. Interesting. I mean, they've got control of the outside, but this isn't really gonna help them inside. Although it may help. Their intent may be to cover their mossies, perhaps.
Correct, and also I guess defend the base as well, because I mean, if they take down this silo, that's a good chunk of time that they've spent going into this.
Yeah.
Mind you, looking at some of where they're focusing, they're currently focusing all the way towards H on some of the air, so they don't have much to focus on, and that's a big, what looks like a big soldier investment, just sitting there doing not much.
This timer, where are we at with this? This Relic D did get capped by RAVE, but they have very little on it.
Yeah, RVNX already back on point now, as they've just dropped themselves a full squad directly into the spire. Yep. I'm going to go back into the middle of the map because we're going to have a look at what's happening, because now we're seeing where Thundercuckoo Falconbirds previously built their base over at Relic C, when Relic G is starting to get focused down now.
Yeah, I noticed.
Oh, but they got them defended. Oh no, this is on the defense now. Perfect.
Oh, there's a little stray silo in the middle of the map too. Wait, this is that's a flail.
Ooh. It's broken.
It's either a flail or whatever the other one is. It's looking straight up right now and shooting. Very low cordium, but this is RVNX. It's over kind of in that southern desolation region underneath Relic I.
Interesting.
I'm not really sure what it's doing.
Relic F has a very nice defendable base right now that RAVE has put up. Sky Shield, walls, and everything.
Nice.
And we're seeing a little bit of TCFB trying to get a Sunder in here to do the forward to attack here. But I think it's going to be a challenge with how much defense is in here. If they can take it down, then it's going to be a possibility. They do have a beacon on the north side of the base.
Yeah. And we're seeing RAVE kind of pushing at a lot of different places right now. They're taking both A and G. It looks like Thunderbirds may just give up H to a Ghost Cap. We'll see if there's going to be a last-minute save there.
Mm.
And we do see a Scythe kind of PPAing the point, but I don't see any infantry coming in. And it's a single RVNX guy that may cap this base. Oh, RAVE is going to come in and steal it.
Interesting. Just an update on points currently. RAVE currently on 526 points. Ravens on 281. And Thundercougar Falconbirds on 260. So
yeah, this was a really smart play from RAVE right here. They let RVNX cap this base all the way down from Thunderbirds and dumped a squad on it with like 10 seconds left.
Oh,
stole the cap on H.
That's really smart. And now they got to Thundercougar Falconbird's got to defend G Point as well. They're currently taking down the silo and the base here, and there's none of the Falconbirds here currently to defend it either. Oh,
all of those territory gains from the Falconbirds, they're losing every point at once.
Mm-hmm.
BANG.
They've really got to pick their battles here.
Yeah.
And it looks like only a squad. They've taken down the Sunday that they've had spawned here as well. And the spawn tube's about to go down here at G. We're seeing the big fight here at A point.
Yeah, G looks like it's pretty much dead. They're popping all the modules.
A is going to be... A's got 17 seconds left, and this is where it looks like one of their main bases are. Thunder is coming in from Falconbirds to try and get the defense, but they're not going to get it in time. These are some big plays from RAVE.
RAVE is, I think, playing to their strengths a lot. I've noticed, despite the expected domination of the air by Falconbirds, we've really seen RAVE's Reavers dominate the air for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
And that combination of air domination and really strong infantry play, I think, is just what's kind of clinched the match for them.
It's been very... And I'm currently watching the eye fight between Ravens and RAVE. But so far, I think RAVE has been doing a very good job of balancing both the factions to juggle. There was a bit of time when they got focused down, but they've really gained momentum once again to recapture.
Yeah,
Now
and I mean, we're starting to see that focus
points
down again, looking at Relic I, where we have what looks like almost all of RVNX's forces, and then Relic A, where the Thunderbirds are throwing their entire force on it. I mean, we're up to... RAVE is now up to 582. If RVNX or TCFB want to come from behind, I could see a motivation to kind of spawn lock RAVE. If they could honestly very quickly pop dump RAVE. There's no way RAVE is going to be able to hold off twice their numbers.
Yeah. Here we go. RVNX currently on the roof here at I. 1 second left, and they've got the defense at least.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, RAVE has a few guys. We're seeing this very consistent again. Using Umbrella Shields and Spitfires all over the place. There's so many Spitfires on all these points. And that's, I think, I'm sure the devs are very happy right now with the amount of use that tactical slot items are getting.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen a single fight without a tactical slot item somewhere, whether it's a Umbrella Shield or an Auxiliary Spitfire. Haven't seen any Cordium bombs yet.
Back on Relic D, we're seeing currently the fight between RAVE and Ravens once again. Population 63% currently towards RAVE. And this is also one of the main bases again. This was the base that we saw was attacked earlier that has a lot of Cordium for the Ravens guys. This is nearly full.
Heavy push coming into H here from the Falconbirds. We got RVNX and RAVE fighting over this point. It looks like the Falconbirds are taking a page out of RAVE's book and trying to steal. But they're gonna go in and dump a good amount of population on this.
I'm gonna jump on H quickly because this sounds interesting. Yep, there's the Galaxy.
Yep. Speaking of TCFB. Orbital strikes, Thunderbirds do have an orbital strike ready on A point. They almost have the range to use that on H if necessary. Or on Relic A, rather.
Ooh.
And we're seeing a big push back from RAVE here, pretty much even pop. I think Thunderbirds are going to
Yeah.
struggle to push this back. There's not really any air from Thunderbirds. It's pretty much pure cheese here, or pure infantry here.
Yeah. If they wanted to try and get that cap in and get the steal in, I think it was a little bit... Yeah, there was just too much on the timer for it. I'm
Yeah.
going to head back to... Where is it? D?
Thunderbirds are trying. They've got a push coming back in. But RAVE seems to be wiping it out pretty effectively. Although
D-point,
we do see
clear.
Thunderbirds are really, really pushing. They've got beacons coming up. I'm seeing drop pods all over the place here.
We might have the win soon as well, because Rave is on 670, with Ravens on 330 and Thunder Cougar Falconbirds on 308.
Yeah,
So
I
we're
think
not
I'm
that
pretty
far away from
comfortable
the end of the
saying
match.
RAVE has this. At this point, to
I still gotta go for
contest
the underdog.
RAVE. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing that they are basically ignoring each other now. No population on their contested bases. Oh,
Yeah.
here's that
Here
orbital
comes an
strike.
orbital strike.
That's a RVNX orbital
Ravens.
strike. Yeah. And that's gonna
And there
wipe out all the
goes that.
tactical slot stuff they have set up here. And there
here
comes the
comes
RVNX
Mouse
drop.
from the Galaxy.
Look at
Beautiful.
that. That was
Oh,
a nice. The problem is that orbital, they were all off the point. That orbital strike didn't actually kill any of the RAVE boys.
And the point isn't flipping yet. 12 seconds left. Galaxy goes down.
RVNX really trying. I hear that burr of a chain gun going off.
Yep. They're getting the men on point, but is it going to flip in time? Nah.
Nope. Defended
Defended
Relic
anyway.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Thunderbirds now with a strong push on Relic G. I think RAVE can honestly afford to let that go through at this point. They've got a Ghost Cap going on A, Ghost Cap going on B.
Currently with 6 points under control from RAVE.
Yeah, RAVE also holding Relic D against a 2-to-1 pop in kind of a squad scale. Take a look over there. I'm going to use my waypoints because I'm bad at life.
I've been getting lost quite a bit actually. We're seeing
it's very symmetric. It's good for you know, kind of this how, you know, battles are going to go, but it's not easy on a streamer trying to figure out where I am.
It's definitely an experience, but I want to do this again. This is good so far.
Yeah, this has been fun. Oh, I saw shout out to STR. What is this? STR1D3R with the Record Smasher title.
Ooh.
I don't see too many of those around anymore.
I want to compliment Thunder Cougar Falconbirds. They've got a Liberator here on B that's actually poking its head through the Sky Shield. So, poking its Doubton underneath the Sky Shield.
That's some nice play. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And the RVNX going after a Thunderbirds Galaxy that's contesting a RAVE cap. But why?
And it's gone.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
RAVE with the win in the Silver Outfit Wars.
Congratulations to RAVE.
I should have put money on that.
I've got to go for the underdog every time. Unfortunately, that's just in my nature. I think very much an Australian thing to do that. But
gotcha.
No, good job to RAVE. They had the infantry presence, air dominance. Well, actually, no. I would say it was fairly even air throughout the whole match, and that was really good to see.
Oh, and yeah, and then we're gonna get bumped off of Desolation because that's gonna close up pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, we have an alert going on here. What's going on?
We'll get ourselves into a nice position on the server here, and we'll come in for interviews quickly, shortly. We'll get everyone together, but yeah, what are your thoughts? How did that go? Did it go to how you expected? Well,
I mean, you know, from the pre-match it did. I mean, honestly, I think RAVE performed even stronger than I expected them to. I expected them to have a lot more struggle holding off against some of the more cheesy aspects, some of the vehicles and like air, you know, like you said, kind of going in expecting Thunderbirds to dominate the air, RVNX to kind of have that even mix, which they really did. RVNX kind of, they were very even across all aspects.
But
was, and
yeah, it's RAVE playing that air. I didn't think I saw any vehicles except ants from RAVE. They were very much
Interesting.
air and infantry just moving fast from point to point.
yeah, I can. Yeah, I honestly didn't see much in terms of galaxies from RAVE. I agree. Like it was either.
There were a
I think.
few like galaxies and Valkyries here and there, but
Hmm,
even those, the emphasis was really for them. It looked like on beacons and very quick movement.
beacons and routers, because I was definitely seeing a lot of RAVE routers that were sneakily placed into bases on some of the infantry points
Gotcha.
there.
You
and
know, those were
so,
sneaky. I kind of missed those, honestly. Oh, hey, I found our boy Squizzy here, hanging out in the warp gate.
oh, perfect. And I'll go give Mighty Blue a poke as well, so we can get him hopefully into a channel.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's have a look.
It looks like if anyone looking for more action, PSB2 should now be covering the bronze match, which has started. Go over to twitch.tv/PlanetSide Battles 2, or feel free to stick with us for some interviews from a couple of the teams that just played here. Oh, we have a TeamSpeak user. Wonder if that's our friend.
Oh, they are from Australia. Yep.
Yep,
Looks
there we
like it.
go. All right. Do we want to poke Squizzy and see if he's ready, and we can pull him in?
That's not the one I wanted to give him.
What did you give him? Oh, streamer. Yeah.
There we go. Beautiful. Let's give them both a poke.
This is kind of the classic what you do after the alert or after the server smash, just run around the warp gate and shoot randomly in the air while you kind of reflect on what just happened. Seeing a
Indeed,
lot
this
of
is
that right now.
I'll definitely want to know how their hearts are feeling. It's got to be an interesting match after all of
Yeah,
that.
I mean, looking at the score, they actually, RAVE outscored them combined.
Ooh.
That's, I mean, for me that would sting a bit, but at the same time, I don't think either of them really had that bad of a showing. I think RAVE was just so strong on the ground. It's very difficult
Beautiful.
when you're trying to play an even combined arms game and you've just got this kind of ball of high KD infantry pushing you off, everywhere you go. But not to reduce RAVE's tactics, because, I mean, as we saw in Connery Gold last time, having, like, high KD experienced players doesn't matter if you don't, choose your caps correctly and get that population moving around, and I think RAVE did very good at that.
Okay, looks like we've got Mighty Blue ready. Do you have any word from Squizzy?
I haven't heard from him yet, but have you given him a
I'm
poke?
gonna give him another poke as well. Let's have a look. Okay, looks like he's unmuted as well.
Alright, let's pull them both up.
Perfect. Yeah, let's bring them in.
User was moved to your channel.
Hello. That was
Hello,
a...
boys.
First of all, I must just say, well played. It was a really fun match to watch.
It was.
How are you guys feeling?
Sorry, I just fixed my output device.
No worries.
All good.
I'll speak for myself, I guess. First, we sort of came out of the gate hot, and then after that, I guess everybody just seeing the bases for the first time and stepping foot on Desolation for the first time. I guess some of that shock hit us in the first few minutes, and that cost us a lot of time. And then we sort of had to reel from that. So a little bit disappointed in the scheme of points, but very happy with how we played and how we recovered just from that. And
Yeah.
as an outfit, yeah, we were very happy.
And what
Beautiful. How
about
about
you,
yourself,
Mighty Blue?
Well, we've spent a week just finding enough people to play, so that in and of itself is the victory for us. But our comms died literally as the match started, so we spent more time fixing our comms than shooting people this time round.
You know,
Oh.
that does explain a thing or two, honestly. I kind of noticed, you know, obviously in the beginning, I think you guys were a little late on that second, you know, home base cap. And it was kind
Yeah.
of, you know, that I think is very easily explainable with a breakdown in communications. Um, and yeah, I think you guys, I mean, especially coming out of the gate with no comms working and still, you know, being very close to second place at least, I think is a pretty, you know, it's an achievement. I think you still, you know, pretty good to
Oh,
see.
well, you know, we gotta put on a good show and make it fair for the other teams.
Ah, yeah, of course.
You know, hats off, man, for coming back from that. That's awesome. You guys fought extremely well, so well done.
Yeah, we saw, you know, amazing plays from all teams.
Mhm.
I was very sad to see that orbital strike kind of, you know, last bit. It was a really nice play from RVNX, but Rave just wasn't in the donut. And that
Yeah.
was hard to see because that, I think, was a very smart play, using that orbital strike to clear right as you dropped. From TCFB, certainly, you know, at one point I kind of glanced and I'm like, hang on, they actually have the most bases right now. And that was something that kind of came out of nowhere. I feel like you guys played a very quiet but steady game.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Like, we're just happy to be here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
And
coming from another small outfit, I know how hard it can be to just, you know, pull together 48 people to field on Desolation. So definitely in and of itself an achievement, you know, kind of pulling together who knows how many outfits, you know, and still, you know, coming out fighting and putting up a good show.
Yeah, we figured we'd give it a red hot go.
Yeah, why not, right? Give it a go, see how you like it.
It's
so what
probably interesting to note. Sorry, it's interesting to note that Rave is actually not as large an outfit either. They had to bring in a lot of help.
Yeah.
So I believe that Rave 2 had about 50% or more of their platoon was guys that had to pull in, and I think they did a fair amount of recruiting, but they had maybe a lot of guys who were sort of doggedly approaching everybody and anybody to get their skilled players that wanted to play into the outfit wars. So
Yeah,
hats off to both teams to pull the numbers together. That was awesome.
definitely. And I think Rave seems to have been very deliberate in the players that they were pulling in. Just like I glanced at their outfit right before the match, just kind of overall stats, and noticed that despite all the new joins, they still had like an overall KD of 3.
Yes, correct.
So they seem to have been very careful about who they grabbed. But
Absolutely, yeah. They've
and
got
you
a
know,
very, very small threshold.
yeah, and that's kind of the thing about, you know, you grab who you can, outfits that tend to, you know, if you got Rave, which is, you know, I would assume probably closer to a 50-man outfit normally. It's a very different demographic from an outfit that, you know, might have, you know, 500 members or something like that, or just doesn't necessarily care to play that kind of sweaty infantry game.
Yeah, that's probably sums it up pretty well. We definitely don't encounter their numbers, or we hadn't encountered those types of numbers on the live server. Whereas Ravens, we can pull up, you know, nearly a platoon and a half consistently twice a week for our ops. But
Yeah.
again, it's the difference between having, you know, these prerequisites or this bar set as to what your entry limits are. Ravens don't have that. We are a very, very open outfit. We're very welcoming. We spend a lot of time training people to learn how to play the game, and it does probably slow us down on a competitive side of things. But on the side of, you know, like we were talking about earlier tonight, on the side of having a really good community and being able to have fun and enjoy our time together outside of wars, we wouldn't have done anything differently, I think.
Oh, definitely. I think outfits like
Mm.
yours have a very important role in the game,
just in terms of, I mean, especially as one of the only, English-speaking outfits on Soltech, but just in the new player experience, I think it's outfits like yours that really keep players, The giant outfits they tend to get lost in, but kind of those like mid fits where, they've still got the personalized welcome and, all the resources available to them is, I think, where the new player experience thrives. That's very important.
Well, for reference, most of the guys that have ended up playing for us this week, they were people that we already knew, like from a 6 years long deep friends lists kind of thing. So
Gotcha.
we
Oh.
didn't have to do like a lot of public going like, oh hey, somehow 8 people qualified for Outfit Wars.
Yeah.
We didn't have to throw open the doors like that. We actually had a really lucky group of people who decided that this was a fun dog pile.
Yeah, that's
Pulling in
fantastic.
the old reserve.
That's kind of what my outfit ended up doing last Outfit War 2 is we kind of went, we qualified and we field 18 people max. Let's get to the friends list,
That would have been a marathon on the last qualifiers too.
Yeah, for us in particular, our first qualifiers, we had people pull like 16-hour overnight shifts.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I am very
Yeah.
happy that no one had to do this time around.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to say as well, at least watching over the match for this, is that there was a really excellent combined arms effort from all sides. Like,
Yes.
I was really expecting the air to be dominated by just one outfit, but throughout the whole match, there were excellent dogfights in the air. There were skirmishes on the ground between vehicles. It was really excellent from all sides.
Yeah. And that's again something, going into the match, I could say from our pre-stream, Pack was actually favoring Thunderbirds kind of as an underdog favorite. And I kind of
thanks.
and I kind of
I knew.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, at least when it came to air superiority, I know that you guys were probably the guys I was most scared of back on Briggs if I was to encounter your tags in the sky. So I was like, oh, you might be able to have the old reserve come back and dominate the sky again. It's definitely an important part to keeping security, but no, it was definitely, I think, a hard time in the sky watching the dogfights going on.
It honestly seemed like, on the dogfights, I would see a lot of, say, Mossies and Reavers going at it, and then some Scythes would just kind of get caught in the crossfire, vice versa. A lot of air kind of straying into the other two factions' dogfights and, ending up dying And that, I think, was kind of an all-sides thing. I, certainly see, like, Reavers wander into, like, Mossies and Scythes and get similarly decimated. Also, a lot of dead galaxies on all sides.
Oh, yes.
Galaxies were
Definitely.
not
To
living
drain the
very
cordial
far.
silo.
Yeah, and for myself, kind of favoring Rave, I still was surprised by how many pilots they had. My understanding of Rave from when they were on Connery was it was a very infantry tryhard focused outfit. And I expected them to struggle a lot against kind of Thunderbirds and RVNX, who seem to have a lot stronger vehicle play. But their pilots surprised me.
They recruited, as far as I can tell, quite a lot from the entire server.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of players from all factions on Soltech who wanted to go ham for Outfit Wars.
Gotcha. That would make sense. That would be kind of, maybe they pulled in some pilots from other areas. If I was them, I would have been very deliberately recruiting skilled pilots to kind of cover my own, failings, if you will.
So, how do you feel? Would you guys like to compete into a future Outfit War again? Or what have you learned from this match as well for you guys?
Well, personally, I will definitely be looking forward to competing in another match. There's a lot to unpack for everybody, I'm sure, as to
Mhm.
what lessons can be learned and what strats worked and what didn't. Particularly because I did a lot of medicing after I was initially going to be doing some infill with EMP nades. I found that unless you're prepared with having backup Valks or guys who are using their initiative to come in a half a second, those ground fights can be sorted in a matter of seconds, and then you're already sort of thinking about what your next spawn option is going to be. So room for improvement for sure, and a lot to unpack, but
Mhm.
I'm definitely psyched for the next one that we compete in anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. No, that's good to hear.
I look forward
How
to
about
seeing
yourself,
you
Mighty
back.
Blue?
Say again, sorry.
Oh, how about yourself, Mighty?
Oh, we were just happy to get to see the new map. Like playing with the new map and the new rules, it was really interesting. I think we had a good old. We gave it a good old go. We would have liked it if the match would have gone longer.
Yeah, it still seemed a little. I'll be interested to see what tuning they do after it, because the matches still did seem to be a little shorter than I would have liked.
Yeah.
I'm interested too. There's Rel already came out and said there's going to be some tweaks to the quals, and
Mhm.
with that will entail, trying to segment the larger outfits against the smaller ones.
Mhm.
But again, I'm still interested to see whether there's going to be an opt-in as to whether or not these brackets are going to change, due to based on like we were just discussing. There's overall stats that can be seen, and you can draw information, general information, but you can draw that
Mhm.
information into some form of trying to segment so that you've got sort of like an A, B, and C tier
Mhm.
of brackets. However this comes about is obviously not something I'm able to impact, but
Yeah.
it would be my best. It would be in my interest at least to see that
Mhm.
instead of going up against an outfit with a 3 average KD, we go
Mhm.
against someone with a 1.5 or 2.
Try and kind of group outfits that are, generally seem to be similar stat level together. Could be.
Yeah,
I
and it
have a
would also
feeling.
like prevent ring-ins too, because if you're going up against a similar
Yes.
stat level and you lack the coordination, then that's on you as opposed to going in and buying into to what you want to achieve and get out of
Yeah.
it.
I would honestly expect to see size-based brackets more so than skill-based. Um,
Of course, yeah, true.
I mean, there to an extent tends to match up a little bit, but of course not always. I mean, you have outfits like my old outfit on Connery TR, who probably had an average KD of like 0.9, but were a similar size to, say, RAVE with their average of a 3. But I would actually, on a personal level, like to see size-based brackets where the matches were also scaled appropriately for the size of the outfits,
Yeah, absolutely.
where there isn't this encouragement for a 50-man outfit to have to go out and find 25 ringers, where maybe they can play a 24v24, v24, something like that, where it kind of takes into consideration outfit size, both in qualifiers and in the amount of players they're expected to field.
For sure, for sure. There's also a little bit there which I guess the map itself looks really good. It looks great.
Yes.
But if
Fun to
we were
play
to
on.
continue down the track of having outfit wars on a semi-regular basis, I think again there needs to be a sort of a touch up on things here and there and make sure that they're trying to keep things fresh. At the moment, we're using this. Cardo said it was donuts within donuts within donuts, which
Mm-hmm.
it's a really good application for this start where everything's evens Stevens. But going forward, not seeing too much differ from the rings and the terrain, but the bases themselves are definitely you just get so lost on the ground on the inside of the bases as well.
Definitely. I mean, we
Hmm.
kind of saw that streaming. He'd say, okay, we're over at Relic D, and I'd have to honestly go to the map and place a waypoint to have any clue where I was going.
Yep.
And it's
And
great
It
in
gets
terms of
disorientating very quickly.
so different from anything on live. So different.
yeah, and I think I'd like to see either in the form of a new map or some of those like kind of hinted Indar and Estamir reworks. I'd like to see not necessarily the heavy emphasis on construction because I feel like it still needs some work before it's ready for heavy emphasis on live bases. But I definitely like to see some of like the donuts and some of the more inventive ways that they used construction crates and things um, take place on live in a way that Desolation can kind of reflect some of live play a little more.
hmm And like I said at the beginning, there was a bit of shock that maybe needs to, they need to, Rogue Planet may need to mitigate. If you're playing Outfit Wars for the first time,
Yes.
there's no way to practice to even take a tour of the map.
Yeah,
I made a dossier that I could hand out to everybody so that we at least had a baseline and we could familiarize ourselves with some of the tips and tricks that they needed to know to come
for
on.
sure.
But
Yeah.
when I hit the ground, man, I was lost. Totally lost.
Yeah. And I think for the first time, most people are. I mean, even myself, and I participated throughout the playtesting of Outfit Wars, coordinated a lot of it, and I still I had no clue what was going on a lot of that map, just because it's so symmetrical. It's so easy to get lost. And it's such a difference from live play where, you know, Desolation, really the design seems to be getting to try and, encourage you to use construction, you know, placing those nice like centered sky shields. Saw a lot of umbrella shields, which was kind of fun. It was nice to see an update, so recent being so heavily used in Outfit Wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry,
Ravens,
guys,
we
I've
were
got to
we
scoot
were
off.
putting down.
No worries.
Oh, no worries, Mighty Blue. Thank
Hey.
you for
No
coming on.
problem.
Thanks for coming. And
No worries,
GG
thank
again.
You. Yeah,
Best of
thanks.
luck.
Well done and congrats, man. You did awesome today.
No
Absolutely.
worries, thank you very much. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Pitch.
User disconnected from your channel.
Actually, I was about to say that I agree with you. Seeing all the new the merit tactical utility slots being used and everything applying. We applied caltrops, we applied the Spitfires. I know we had guys on hand with cordium bombs to go up against those bases. Even though the meta dictates on live at the moment to just trash the place with Spitfires, we definitely saw our share of everything being used today. So that
Yeah.
was awesome.
On those Spitfires, I noticed RAVE using a lot of Spitfires placed right on the edge of the donut buildings. Did those really have any effect on you? I mean, I saw they were heavy on the umbrellas in the Spitfires.
Yeah, the Spitfires was definitely an issue. I mean, there's ways to mitigate it, of course, with EMPs and everything else. But from my perspective, anyway, when I was trying to EMP, I was far too focused on trying not to hit my own guys. So there's nothing really, unless it's a complete detriment to yourself to try and mitigate those or to deny them the Spitfire meta. So there is something there that's still to be desired, but I'll just say it. I mean, everyone's said it by now, but hats off to the dev team. The map looks beautiful. The updates, especially with the tactical equipment, has just been a godsend. The game just feels so fresh and so new.
Yes.
And this Outfit Wars and everything that's been going on with it and there's still concurrent work on it has been amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm finding myself in a place where I'm actually hyped for what they're going to come out with next. And that's a feeling that I haven't had in a long time with PlanetSide. So I'm very excited to see where this is going to go.
Yeah, man. And they're hyping it up well, too. They're really playing their cards and playing to that strength really well. So, yeah, fucking beat that drum. Absolutely. Sorry.
Oh, 100%. And I'm looking forward to, we got the Colossus update coming out. I would hope soon. We haven't really gotten a date on that, but I think was that supposed to be May update or June update? Can't quite remember.
But either
All I know is
way,
Andy Sipes is tooting that horn. He's loving it.
yeah. I'm, as someone who spends a decent amount of time tanking, or at least used to, I'm definitely hyped to see what the Colossus is going to bring to the table. Slightly afraid for my harasser, but other than that, especially if it comes in as a Bastion counter, I'll be happy to see that.
I've heard tossed around that there's going to be a sort of, it's going to work slightly differently to the Bastion, where it acts as a sort of command console. So the person who pulls the Colossus gets a sort of a different range of abilities in terms of maybe being able to, do mortar strikes on something, and then maybe even place mortars like similar to a
Oh.
turret. And so you can do you can set up like a little glaive or something that you can sort of drop out and keep on going. But I don't know if any of that is true. This is just hearsay. But yeah, if something like that was to play into it, that'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably let you go now. Get back to your guys, and probably throw it over to Planetside Battles 2 for the remainder of the bronze match.
Sure, no worries. Well, thanks again, boys, for having me, and well done on broadcasting, and cheers.
Well done.
Yeah,
Well done on the match
absolutely
as well. It was a
fantastic.
wonderful match to watch.
No
Yeah.
worries. And congratulations to everyone that played. Take it easy.
You too, Squizzy.
User left your channel.
It's actually an excellent match, it looks like, for the bronze as well, because it's very close. Both two outfits are very close to 500 each. So I'd say we'll probably get a raid going and head over to the other channel so we can get all these guys over here.
Yes, sir. One moment.
But it was a wonderful match to watch. It was very, I felt like it was still a fairly even match, even if it felt one-sided.
Yeah.
At least from my perspective, because there was a good amount of force. It didn't seem like it was an outright domination. It was a good combined arms. I'm definitely looking forward to